What's going on, everybody? My name is Mark Farzy. This is a program I like to do called The Farzy Show. It's presented by Steven Singer Jewelers. Remember when we were all really loving life yesterday and the night before when the Eagles won and everything just felt so good. Everything felt so right. And then the Phillies played last night at Citizens Bank Park. And in that little baseball game, they lost 18-11. The Phillies lost last night 18-11. Now, here's the good news. Devan Kaney of multiple. Devan has every job, all the jobs, wide variety of them, from covering football with me and at Jacob Media and pre and post game responsibilities she has over there as well. And I got to work with her for the first time in a while this past Monday night for Jacob Media. She works over at WIP. She works at covering the NLL, the National Lacrosse League. Work on the ESPN cover. She has every job ever, but she took time out of her busy schedule to come on here and help relive some of the great memories of that Philadelphia Eagles game that now feels so far away. We don't talk Phillies, but we do relive some of those moments about the Philadelphia Eagles, and we preview the Eagles Commanders game coming up this weekend. But right now, I'm just utterly I shouldn't be confused because I didn't have great expectations for this series. I don't have great expectations for really any interleague series with the Phillies because it seems like they just always get pummeled no matter what. But the Phillies now losing this game after getting swept out of Atlanta. The Phillies losing this game after having already lost 4 in a row because they lost that the series capper of against the Marlins. The Phillies losing last night in the fashion that they did after a day off. It hurts my soul. And what hurts my soul even more is when the Phillies were down 5-0. Well, let's see, they're down 3-0 in the first inning after Kyle Gibson gave up that 3-run home run. And I think to myself, well, this isn't good. And then they go down to the very next inning and lose 5-0 by the second inning. And I'm like, hey guys, on Twitter, I'm like, the Phillies are still going to make the playoffs, right? Right? The Phillies are still going to make – there's no way that they have another horrible September collapse with guys like Bryce Harper and JT Realmuto. Like, there's no way that they have another – that's not going to happen. I mentioned it a million times. The last time that they were over 500 in September, Pete Buchanan was the manager of this ball club. But I'm like, there's no way that happens, right? And what hurt my soul was that the vast majority of the responses were no. Like, no. Why would you want them to make the playoffs? They're not good enough. No, they're not making the playoffs. Who would ever want? Who cares if they make the playoffs? Nobody goes to the ball games, which in a little way is valid. I still think people are watching. But for me, that hurts me because I thought we were all on the same page here. I thought the vast majority of the Philadelphia sports fan just wanted the Phillies to make the playoffs. Like, hey, if you make it as the third wildcard team, which is a bonus slot that was just added this year, fine. Just make the playoffs. 11 years we've had to wait to see playoff baseball. Just give me the playoffs. That's it. Why would you want them to? They're just going to get blown out of the first round. Okay, I'll take it. I'm sorry. Did you say in the first round, like in the first round of the playoffs? Yes, please. I don't care. Playoff baseball. Just give me that. Give that to me. Give me the Phillies playing a playoff game and the Eagles 4-0, 5-0, I guess they would be at the time. Like, give me that start to October. Let me go into the first week, second week of October, feeling those vibes. Please. I don't care. Then you get blown out. Yeah, fine. Guess what happens? Everyone gets playoff experience then. Gene Segura finally makes it to the playoffs. JT Realmuto gets a dabber. Dapple. Dabber? Dabber? I don't even know the word. But he gets to test the playoff waters a little bit. Good Lord, 18-11. Here's the play that sticks out to me the most of all the plays from last night. And there's two things I do want to acknowledge that are a good note from last night's game. Well, first off, they scored 11 runs. How in the Lord's name you give up 18 runs? How you give up 18 runs after a day off and you got to burn through? Basically, Garrett Stubbs has to pitch for you to close out the ball game. after a day, I was just mind-numbing. That's like you wasted that day. Oh, all right, everyone was off. Hey, everyone now pitch. I'm not going to be able to use you for a couple of days after this. But after Kyle Gibson started the game and allowed 7 runs in total, 12 hits, 5 innings of work, just under 80 pitches, 79 pitches. Eflin came in, Brogdon, Coonrod, Brad Hand, Garrett Stubbs. So, I mean, in fact, to use Stubbs is one less pitcher, but still, to use Eflin, Brogdon, Coonrod, Hand, 4 pitchers, 4 of them, 4 pitches in that ball game last night after a day off. Okay. Not exactly how you want to start things off. And certainly you don't want to lose 5 in a row. The good news, I did mention some good news, was the bats. But the one play that stuck out to me the most after last night's game that just was going around in my head was Bryce Harper, who had an RBI last night, 2 for 5 from the plate. How in the Lord's name do you get doubled off at second base on a line drive to center field? Like, how are you not watching? My first thought was that he forgot the outs. Now, I have a clip of Bryce Harper after the game, but he's not talking about that, and I didn't see a quote of him talking about what happened on this particular play. But the Phillies are in a situation where JT Realmuto just hit an RBI single. The Phillies were down to start the inning, 7-1. Guthrie came up. He had a home run, made it 7-2. You get an RBI single from Rhys Hoskins. You get Bryce Harper with an RBI single, make it 7-5. JT Realmuto had a monster game. We'll get to him. He steps up to the plate. He makes it 7-5 with an RBI single. And then Bryson Stott, it's a line drive to center field. I want to say short left center field is the best way to describe it. Bryce Harper looked like he was going on contact from second base with 1 out. Books it to third. All of a sudden puts on the brakes, looks over his shoulder, and then starts booking it back to second base where he gets doubled off. Rally killing double play. Now, with the way this game played out, I don't think it really mattered, but it just let me know if that's where Bryce Harper's head is at right now when you're chasing the playoffs, where's everybody else's head at right now? If your team leader, if your reigning MVP is either forgetting the outs or your rating MVP is going on contact on a little liner to center field and not tracking it, where's everybody else's head at? Because 5 in a row, when I saw that, went, oh, yeah, they're losing 5 in a row. The 5 in a row in mid to now late September is not going to get you in the playoffs. And here's where you're at right now. As far as the wild card standings go, Padres won again. They're at a game up on the Phillies, a game and a half up on the Phillies now. Phillies occupy the 3rd wild card spot. Brewers have lost 3 in a row. Brewers have lost 3 in a row, so they're 2.5 games out of the 3rd wild card spot behind the Phillies. So that's where the standings are as of right now, and the Braves already clinched the spot. And the Braves are the Braves. But when I saw that play, and then it was also compounded by the idea that Bryson Stott and Kyle Schwarber lost the ball in left field. It was Kyle Schwarber's ball. He totally lost it. Bryson Stott thought he had a beat on it. They both, I guess, lost it. And I think Tom McCarthy said the twilight. That's what happened, I guess. And then Alec Boehm olays a ball at third base that he should have had. I'm like, guys, this is really hurting my hopes and dreams of having a very sports-packed October. Between the playoff Phillies, the Eagles, obviously, Sixers getting things underway. Like, all this stuff, just, guys, we're not going to start this off well? Little home cooking, right? No, because guess what? You got the Braves for 4 more after this. It's not going to get easier. Brewers got the Mets. You're going to have the Braves after this series with Toronto, who is a playoff team. They're number 1 wild card spot in the American League. But it was painful to watch the Phillies last night. It was a crash landing after riding the high that the Eagles were giving us. Phillies are home after that performance for the Eagles. This is what's so great about being in such a big sports city. No, it's not. 18-11. We'll let you know, and just acknowledge for a second that JT Realmuto, 5 for 5 on the night with a home run. I mentioned Schwarber. Schwarber hit his 40th home run of the season last night, so that's pretty cool. But all that in a losing effort. The bats weren't the problem. The arms could. After the game, Topper just said, yeah, we didn't miss a lot of bats tonight. They asked him about possibly pulling Kyle Gibson earlier than they did in the ball game, and he just said, yeah, I didn't want to burn through my bullpen after the day off. So they gave Gibson 5 innings of work, and he rewarded them with 7 runs. Good Lord. Phillies back at it today against the Toronto Blue Jays, and hopefully they grab our attention again. But where are you at right now as far as the Phillies go? Because I'm still in the school of I just want them to make the playoffs. It's more so that I miss the Phillies being in the playoffs than it is get in the playoffs and anything can happen. Because I think I know what's going to happen. I think they're going to lose. I don't think they're going to advance. That's what I think is going to happen. But I want to see Aaron Nola pitch in the playoffs. I want to see Zach Wheeler pitch in the playoffs for the Phillies. I want to see Bryce Harper in the playoffs wearing a Phillies uniform. I'd like to see Gene Segura. I'd like to see Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm get that experience for the Phillies. Guys are going to be here for a long time. I would love to see that. Just can I get that? Because it doesn't appear like the Phillies really want that to happen. Here's Bryce Harper after the game talking about the situation that they're in, losing 5 in a row right now in September.
I mean, I think, we're at the point where we need to win games. And, it's, we're at a crucial point in the season where we have to show up every single night that we play, no matter what, no matter who's over there or what's going on. So, like you said, we're in a tough stretch right now. Hopefully we can flush this as quick as possible.
Flush it. I like that flushing it has become the normal way to describe a horrible losing streak or a horrible loss. I saw this last night on postgame, and I thought this was interesting. I want to relay it to you. 2018, 19, 20, 21, now 22. Okay? Here's the Phillies in September. This is fun. Here you go. Lost 9 in a row from September 20th to September 28th. And that was in 2018. After that, they lost 8 of 9 in late September. After that year, now in 2020, lost 7 of their last 8. 2021 lost 6 of their final 7. And currently, this year, they've lost 5 games in a row. Boop, 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 boop. 5 years now. 5 years now. Where the Phillies just couldn't do anything in September. Rob Thompson, I was hoping to be able to get him over that hump. Bryce Harper and a healthy lineup, other than Nick Castellanos. I was hoping you guys would be able to give us a little bit more than that to close out September. There's still some time here, but it doesn't get much easier. This is the rough stretch. We talked about it over the last 2 weeks, about how the Phillies need to get through this stretch of ball games. They need to get through these games against the Braves. They need to get through these games against the Atlanta Braves. And then after that, hey, you got Washington. You got a 4-game series with Washington after the 4-game series with Atlanta, after a trip to Chicago. So you finish out after this, despite the Cubs and the Nationals in those games, you're on the road. So after this Toronto series, you host the Braves for 4, and then you're on the road from September 27th to October 5th against the 3-game series with the Cubs, 4-game series with Washington, 3-game series with the Houston Astros. That's where you're at. The Astros, that's not, obviously, they're a team that's going to win 100 games this year. That's a rough spot. There's other ones you can describe as easy, but you're on the road. Maybe the getaway games there. Maybe just being on the road, I should say. Maybe those are the games that will get you back on track. But that was a very disheartening loss last night for the Phillies, to say the absolute least. 18 runs allowed. Hey, offense, good hustle. 11 runs. What? Did everyone go to the Phillies game last night? I know Bryce Harper was there. I'm not going to knock him for it. Good for you. Hey, enjoy your game. You have a day off. You don't have to be at work until 6:45 the next day. You're good. But how do you allow 18 runs after a day off? It's like Friday. How do you get fired on your day off? How do you get your arm worn out on a day off? John Kruk has mentioned this a couple of times. He said on the postgame show as well. How do you are you tipping pitches? Kyle Gibson, how has it become this much of a problem in September? You had a good start, your last start against the Marlins. Great. This time around against the Toronto Blue Jays, just everything seemed like it was up in the zone, no life on his fastball, hanging breaking pitches that were getting belted over the wall. You had 3 doubles, I think 4 doubles by the 4th inning of this game. That's bonkers. And I'm watching this all play out thinking there's no way to stop this bleeding. No way to stop this bleeding. And they tried. They finally went to the bullpen in the 5th inning and couldn't do it. Couldn't close it out. So like I said, Phillies back at it tonight. And cross my fingers that they're actually able to stop the bleeding. Here's where I'm at after that awesome win. Because one of the things that made me ride a high yesterday wasn't just the fact that the Eagles had just won and they'd won convincingly. And Jalen Hurts, I think, had his most prolific game. He had 3 other 300-yard passing games before in his career. This was the first one that he won. So I think that's a great sign. And watching him do what he did and the way he did it was a lot of things that I wanted to see because I think it showed a lot of improvement from last year to this year. One of the things that kind of drove the point home even more was I was watching NFL Live on ESPN yesterday, and I was watching our man Dan Orlovsky break it down. And Dan said he was really impressed with a play. It was one of Jordan Mailata's holding penalties, unfortunately. But he said, watch this play unfold. And if you remember the play, it's a play where Jalen Hurts drops back. He gets some pressure in his face. He rolls to his left, keeps his eyes downfield, and hits Quez Watkins, I believe, on it was a crossing route, but I mean, it goes out of bounds. But the point of the play was that it was an easy decision for Jalen Hurts to tuck it and run as opposed to just get out of the pocket, keep his eyes downfield, find a receiver, and deliver the ball perfectly in stride to that receiver. That's something that we don't get an opportunity to see too much of when it comes to Jalen Hurts in his young career. Usually we'll see him take that and run. And it's a play like that that makes me think, forget about the run first option or the emergency of just running whenever you have to or whenever you feel like, oh, this will just be the smartest play. Yeah, we'll see some of that. But the fact that we saw him at least keep his eyes downfield in that particular instance and not tuck it and run, I think is a huge development for a guy like Jalen Hurts. And I have never been on the bandwagon of, Jalen Hurts, he just looks to run all the time. I think he has done more of those plays that he gets credit for, and unfortunately that one doesn't even count because it was negated because of the holding penalty. But not even thinking about that, just thinking about his reaction to that play, I think is a big deal for convincing people that he has taken steps forward in his career. The other point that was made was Ryan Clark made the point of the fact that he was going to his left, and it's harder, especially as a right-handed quarterback, to rock back and then throw across your body and throw accurately. And Jalen Hurts still did that on that play. I'm still reveling in it. Obviously, today being Wednesday, we got to start to move on and look on to the next game. I thought Nick Sirianni was going to address the media. I still haven't gotten a media schedule yet to know who's going to be talking when. I figured it was going to be the day after. Apparently not. But yesterday, I'm watching everything. And I'm watching everything and listening to national people talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. And one of my favorite stories to come out, because they both partied on Monday night, essentially, the Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles meeting in the Super Bowl. First off, yes, please. Anything that ends with the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl, I'm all ears. Buffalo Bills are a hell of a team. Josh Allen playing like another MVP. He'll at least be the MVP conversation this season. It's pretty awesome to think about. But one of the points that people are making are, what if Bills Mafia and Eagles fandom met in a Super Bowl together? That'd be the biggest party in the history of the planet. That would be absolutely bonkers. But I'll wait. I'll wait for that one. It's a great thought to think about. It's a great thought to have rattling around in your brain until you watch the Phillies and then you realize, nope, we can't have nice things. Let me tell you, my man, Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut right there in Philadelphia on Jewelers Row. Steven takes care of people. You know what he takes care of people with? The perfect price each and every day. So when you walk in, you don't have to worry about haggling or negotiating or anything like that. You know what you can worry about? Just whatever beautiful diamond you want to buy at Steven Singer Jewelers. Because that's how Steven takes care of his customers with that perfect price. You don't have to worry about a sale or a coupon or a promo code. You know what you have to worry about? Just that beautiful, dazzling diamond you want to buy. Steven's been in the love business for over 40 years in Philadelphia, helping people get engaged and fall in love with the perfect ring, and the perfect tennis bracelet, the perfect The perfect necklace. Everything at Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price. The perfect price. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, let's jump on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line and talk to my good friend Devan Kaney, who has every job imaginable. Devan Kaney joins us right now. Gentlemen, I am just thrilled to bring back to the show. You know her from just her wide variety of jobs, including, just let me list them off right here, and I'll show the Twitter profile as well, just so people can drink. Just let it soak in, okay? All right, from Jacob Media pre and post game show, from the Philadelphia Wings, from WIP Radio, ESPN lacrosse coverage, BetQL, your friendly neighborhood Meineke, goat herding. Home inspecting service, Bradford White water heaters installer, children's book illustrator, and hostess at Raymore and Flanagan for their big Memorial Day sale, especially. Devan Kaney joins the show. What's up, Devan?
Nothing. I was going to say you forgot one, but you pretty much covered everything. Glad you fit the Meineke in there and goat herder or whatever it was. Yeah, those are the most important to me.
You know, you're doing God's work, apparently all of his work, as a matter of fact. No, I could not. Okay, so I might have fudged a couple on there. But no, you're the busiest person in sports talk in Philadelphia nowadays. God bless you. And we get to work together again for the Jacob Media YouTube channel for some Eagles coverage. We got to sit on the desk at the time we aired this 2 nights ago for Monday Night Football. And if I remember correctly, Devan, you were the first person I've ever heard say, I know what the score is going to be. I'm just not sure who's going to win. And sure enough, the team we were pulling for ended up winning anyway, not by either of the scores that we predicted, but certainly a great start to at least their home opener for this Eagles season.
You know, that I think that's why I've been so successful in sports talk in Philly, because, you know, takes like that. I have a score, but I don't have a winner. Look, I was wrong, and I'm so glad I was wrong about my prediction about that Monday Night Football game. Heading into it, I just didn't feel too confident. I think it was that there were too many unknowns when it came to the Eagles, especially the Eagles defense, based on what we saw against the Lions in week 1. So I genuinely didn't feel confident. I, of course, wanted them to get a win, but in my heart of hearts, and, you know, you mentioned I'm on BetQL. When it comes to sports betting, not to flex too hard, like, I'm pretty good at making bets when it comes to every team other than the Eagles, because I tend to choose and want to think with my heart. So I knew that this game was going to be high scoring. It was actually much lower scoring than I thought it was going to be. So I predicted it was going to be high scoring. I thought that it was going to go the way of the Vikings, because Kirk Cousins has had the Eagles number so many times before. It was Monday Night Football. Like, the hype around it felt like too much. And I'm so pleasantly surprised. So yeah, I'm glad my prediction was not correct on that one.
I could have sworn that Seth, Gunner, and myself at least moved the needle a little bit, and you're like, but the Eagles will win. And I'm like, all right, there we go. We're all excited. But I know that you and I are big Jalen Hurts fans. I know that you and I would love for him to be the quarterback here for the foreseeable future. And of course, he still has to earn that. I mentioned a great step in the right direction just for the home opener. But for him, my argument for week 1 was we didn't get to see enough of Jalen Hurts as far as whether or not he had improved greatly from last season to this season. This was a game where I felt like we got to see that. He was comfortable in the pocket, delivering the football. I know he's played some good games for the Eagles, but this one felt like he was in the most control. Does that make sense?
Of course, and I totally agree. This was his best game as a professional athlete in the NFL, in my opinion, in most people's opinions who've been watching him and following his career so far. His very still young career, which is so impressive, based on what he was able to do, what we saw last night. I mean, very few mistakes. That first drive from him was almost flawless. My favorite moment from Jalen Hurts is when he threw that 53-yard bomb to Quez Watkins, and his reaction just crossing his arms. Like, how cool is he? He's so that made me fall in love with Jalen Hurts all over again. I think now moving forward, like, I hope he can keep it up, but look, he's not going to have perfect games every single game. So to all of our very cool, level-headed Philadelphia fans, I just ask that we not overreact next time. Like, if Jalen Hurts makes a mistake throughout the rest of the season, which I'm sure he will at some point, like, don't freak out. Remember this game. Remember how well he did. I love to see it though. And like on the pregame show, you mentioned he was running for his life. Do you feel like he was running for his life last Monday night?
No. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, he got all the gigs, but Monday night, no, I did not feel like he was doing that at all. And that's what I'm saying. You could actually see him sit in the pocket. You could see him survey the field. You could see whether or not he was studying the defense to take what they were giving him. And Nick Sirianni mentioned it in his post-game press conference that, yeah, there were opportunities there to be taken, and Jalen took the right one. So that tells me he knows what he's looking at, even in his pre-snap reads, which was great. I want to get into this Washington Commanders thing for a second here, and a little bit of the Jalen Reagor thing. You've interviewed a lot of athletes already in your career. Do you ever believe them when they say going against their former team is just another game?
No. No. But you know what? With Jalen Hurts, and obviously I'm a little biased in this, like I'll admit that, I would believe, I don't know if he said that. I'm sure he'll be asked about it this week. I do believe that it does not bother Jalen Hurts. I do not believe that it does not bother and it won't be kind of weighing on Carson Wentz heading into this game.
Gotcha. All right. So you think that, well, really more so for Carson Wentz then, that it won't be one of those things that's on the forefront of his mind?
No, it will be on the forefront.
Oh, it will. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. I don't know if I got that wording right. Like, I think people are like, oh, they're pro athletes. They're used to this. It's behind them. It's in the past. No way. The way Carson Wentz went out, that this is going to be in his head. It's been in his head since he joined the Commanders organization. I think it's going to be a bigger deal when they come to Philly. This one's in Washington. But like, there's no way that Carson Wentz isn't going into this game, like aware of the fact that his successor, the guy who kind of took over for him. And like, look, I don't know what he and Jalen Hurts' relationship was. I can't imagine it was like hostile, but I'm sure they weren't best friends. I don't know what your take is on that. I'm not worried about Jalen Hurts' mentality going into this game though.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there 100%. I got the same take on it, and you probably worded it fine, and I'm just an idiot. When it comes though, we've talked a lot about Jonathan Gannon. We talked about the defensive side of things a lot, not being that aggressive. Certainly took the foot off the gas against the Lions this time around. To go back to this game Monday night against the Minnesota Vikings, it seemed like he not only kept his foot on the gas, but was hitting the accelerator, shifting to the top gear and all that stuff, and trying to go after Kirk Cousins as much as humanly possible. I would assume, even though Carson Wentz is a better athlete than Kirk Cousins, I would assume it's still going to be along the same lines of maybe discovering something here where you can be aggressive, still play a little bit safe, but make sure you also force mistakes for the opposing quarterback. Do you expect to see more of what you saw from Jonathan Gannon in week 2, in week 3 against the Commanders?
I certainly hope so. From everyone on defense, but especially like secondary. Darius Slay, of course, played out of his mind last night. And something Seth Joyner kept saying throughout the pregame show and the game, just watching with him is always so fascinating. Kirk Cousins and Carson Wentz are a similar type of quarterback where, and this is Seth Joyner's words, like if you rush them, if you like get in their face, they're going to pass the ball to you. And we saw that happen, could have been 5 times for Darius Slay last night. And I think Carson Wentz, we know is a similar person. Like other teams can get in his head pretty easily. So I hope Jonathan Gannon and the Eagles defense are planning for that.
Yeah. I've heard Seth say that once or twice. And I think he's absolutely accurate. And when it could have happened a lot of times last year, and Jonathan Gannon chose not to go that route. A lot of stars at the game last night. A lot of stars. Yeah. You had James Harden there. You had Bradley Cooper there. And, of course, you had Bryce Harper there. Was Bryce Harper, did it look like he was in Mike Trout's seats? He could have been. He could have been in Mike Trout's seats in the end zone, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless.
Mike Trout was there as well.
Wait, Mike Trout was there?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I thought that was I don't even know if he has a brother, but I thought that kind of looked like him, but I wasn't sure. But that's insane. All right. If you could sit in one of those boxes, whether that be the owner's box with Bradley Cooper, whether that be on the sidelines with James Harden, Trout, or Bryce Harper, where are you sitting?
Ooh, so that's a good question. My immediate thought is to go Bradley Cooper, but I think I would go James Harden because I want to ask him how he's preparing for the season.
Always working. Always working. You're always working. All right.
No, I really just want to know if that cake Harden threw over the boat on his birthday was real. I have so many questions.
Stunt cake. It was just a stunt cake. He wouldn't waste that. All right, Devin, I got to ask you this. It's been a while on this show since we did a little thing called the Farzy 5. Would you like to take the Farzy 5?
Absolutely.
All right, wonderful. It's been a minute. Let me just bring in the band. Guys, you want to make that happen? Just
rolling it out for me.
They're unbelievable. These guys, they take months at a time off. They never work. They're the opposite of you. And they just come in hot every time. First question, best job. I'll say best job before you were in the industry. I'll say that. Best job before you were in the industry.
Thank you for not making me choose. Best job before I was in the industry, my very first job out of college, I lived in LA for 2 years. And I was an assistant in Los Angeles in the entertainment industry. So I worked for WME, which is a massive talent agency. If you've ever seen the TV show Entourage, it's literally based off WME. The CEO of WME, I don't know if he's still there, but at the time was Ari Emanuel. The character in Entourage was Ari Gold. And yes, they are very similar real life versus that TV show. So definitely an interesting start to my professional life, I'd say, but I think it I don't know, it prepared me well for my career now because nothing scares me after that.
There you go. How is that not the first thing you ever told me?
All right. I know, it's funny I don't mention that much to people now.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? I would be like, hello, I'm Mark, and I know the real Ari. Anyway, go to fast food place. Every once in a while, we're on the road, in this business. All of a sudden, you got to hit a fast food place. When you got to hit a fast food place, which one is it?
I'm not the biggest fast food person, not even for health reasons. I just it's never been my thing. But I'm gonna go with Five Guys.
Five Guys. Okay. Well, here's my thing with Five Guys. They don't have a drive-through.
True. Okay.
So I gotta go you have to have a drive-through.
Okay. Chick-fil-A.
That I knew it. I knew it. All right. First date deal breaker. Ooh, my male audience is gonna need to hear this one. First date deal breaker.
First date deal breaker. If you come into the date and act like a fan. I don't know. Is that bad to say? Oh my God, they let it slip. Also, yes, I am single, so I'm unfortunately actively experiencing this. And it's they don't say anything, then it's oh yeah, I heard you on the radio, or I've seen your post-game show, and I don't know, and then they just start asking questions
right.
The entire date. I hate that a lot.
Is Seth Joyner really that intense?
Yeah, it's Mike Missinelli nice and and yeah. Or when they try to argue, have a sports talk argument with me, it's I enjoy talking about sports. That's okay, but unless I'm being paid, I'm not working right now. I'm just enjoying myself. So
it's weird. I will say that just in social settings, not necessarily a date because I'm very happily married, but it's when you just meet anyone.
Anytime.
Yeah, right. You meet anyone out. My daughter's in school now, so I meet parents. When they just lead with, so what do you think about the Eagles? Well, first off, hello. Stuff like that can be. It's a way you phrase it. Favorite city to travel to?
London. My brother lives there. I studied abroad there. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. I love it. London, hands down.
Sorry about your queen. I don't care
that much.
Ooh. All right, now this is a tough one. Because I know you. You're a very nice person. I'm not just saying that. But what makes you really beep your horn in traffic, Devan Kaney?
It happened on my way back from Atlantic City this morning. Someone came into my lane and didn't put their blinker on. So, yeah, had to honk at them.
The pandemic did a lot of things. I think it made everyone forget how to drive. Not that we were great beforehand. No. It's made us worse.
Yeah, it's infuriating out there. Or also shout out to second thing. I don't know if I honk my horn at this, but when you're driving through the city in Philly, the Ubers, that just stop and put their flashers on and block up an entire lane of traffic, and then you have to get around, and then it causes this whole thing. It drives me insane.
Especially when there's a little pull-off area or something they can just pull off to for a second. Anyway, guys, she was great. Wasn't she? You can stop. Thank you. Oh, way to be. Way to be. Devan Kaney, from all your incredible endeavors, I thank you for joining us and talking all things Eagles with us today. Sports Radio WIP, Eagles post-game show, little dabble in pregame as well for Jacob Media. Super Book Sports, BetQL, all that great stuff right there, ESPN and the NLL as well. Devan, so glad we're going to get to work together again this football season. Always great catching up with you. Thanks for taking time out of your very busy schedule to talk some birds with us.
Likewise. Thanks for having me on, Mark.
Absolutely. Devan Kaney joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Such a fan of hers. Really enjoyed talking to her. Awesome person. And yeah, I'll just say this. It really depends on who you get and on what day you get them. But if you get anybody in the media industry, I know of a couple of people that are just don't talk to me about sports. I love to talk sports. I really do. It is weird when people, because here's what happens 9 times out of 10. If you've ever worked in the industry in the sports industry, as far as this goes, and someone comes up to you and they just go, "What do you think about the Eagles?" Like that's like, oh, what the hell? But often, 9 times out of 10, and people think I'm kidding, 9 times out of 10, that person doesn't even want to hear what you have to say. They will cut you off. This I swear this is what happens. And then tell you what they think and then hope that you use that. Yeah, I was talking to this brilliant fan the other day, and man, the point they made about not throwing interceptions, I was, whoa, like something like that. And I know that sounds snarky, but it's true. I'm really not even giving you an opinion. I'm reporting the news. This is what happens. And I don't mind talking sports. There's a way you work it into the conversation. That might be a little bit more subtle. I just like pleasant people. And I remember when I met Harry Callis. I'll never forget. I purposely didn't want to talk baseball with him because I figured he got that all the time. And then you know what he did? He started talking about baseball. And I swear it came out of nowhere. I remember I was working behind the scenes in TV, and he was booked on the show. And they're like, "Hey, Harry Callis is walking in, so if you could just kind of hang out with him for a second." I was like, okay. And we sat down. We went over some things for the show, and I wanted to talk to him about a couple of topics that would come up. And he goes, like, there's a lull, and I'm thinking, don't ask him about the Phillies. Don't ask him about the Phillies. And he goes, out of nowhere, I swear, in Harry Callis' voice, he goes, "You know what? I have to say, Willie Mays is the greatest ball player I'd ever seen." And I'm like, huh? Go on. And that opened the floodgates. He probably sensed how nervous I was as a little kid. I was like 21, I guess. And he was like, yeah, Willie Mays. And I'm like, oh, baseball. Okay, common ground. And I remember I even tried to start a conversation. With him about like, so what do you do when you're not at the ballpark there, Harry? Great lead-in. Idiot. Me, not him, obviously. And I swear, he goes, "Well, I used to be a big drinker, but I don't do that much anymore." I was just like, this is incredible. And then I think he caught my nervous sweats and went, "Willie Mays, you can talk about baseball, idiot. Let's talk about baseball." I wish there were more Harry Callises. And don't we all? But there won't be. Single tear, many tears, lots of tears. Anyway, so that's my Harry Callis story. But yeah, just a word to the wise. It can be a little awkward. So what do you think about the Eagles? Well, I got to say, I really like, because here's what I think. Okay. It's not a cross to bear. No one's complaining. You know why they're not complaining? Because most people use Manscaped. That's right. Not the best segue I've ever had, but it's there. The Platinum Package 4.0 from Manscaped is something you'll have to absolutely check out. Fellas, you want to join 4 million men worldwide who use Manscaped? Well, why wouldn't you? Manscaped helps you look good everywhere, and they're offering the biggest ultimate hygiene bundle yet, the Platinum Package 4.0. Because you do want to look your best everywhere, don't you, fellas? The Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer is included, as well as the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. And both come with skin-safe technology that helps reduce the risk of nicks, so you can manscape with confidence and comfort. Plus, the Ultra Premium Body Wash 2-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant, Crop Reviver Ball Spray Toner, anti-chafing boxers, and the Shed Travel Bag that you'll use to hold the goods you'll be taking care of your goods with from Manscaped. And right now at manscaped.com, you can use promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy at manscaped.com for 20% off. At manscaped.com. Use promo code Farzy for 20% off. How about Freestone Farm CBD? FreestoneFarmCBD.com. It's something that you'll absolutely enjoy. The menu is something you'll absolutely have to check out with strains like their insane tropical tasting Bayax that clocks in at a chart-topping 24.1%, and Super CBD, which is half Hindu, Kush, and 21%. The genetics of these guys are off the charts, and they grow all their premium hemp flower in the Garden State with all organic inputs and IPM. There's absolutely nothing synthetic from farm to jar. And after harvest, they carefully preserve all the plant compounds with a perfect 3-month cure. Mwah, like a nice soprasata. Just one look or smell, it's enough to let you know it's CBD done right. And it's the perfect, and it's perfect for anyone that's looking to take a more natural approach to everything that they put in their bodies. And how would you like 20% off Freestone Farm CBD? FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Guess what? Promo code Farzy at Freestone Farm CBD. FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Oh, baby. The Mojo app. If you guys are not on the Mojo app yet, ooh, you missed out on some good times. Picture this. The players are stocks. You buy stocks, you sell high, buy low, let them rise in your investment. Like Jalen Hurts after last week. Oh, baby. Jalen Hurts after last week. I told you yesterday. After his 333 passing yard performance and 2 touchdown runs, Jalen Hurts is up $3.34. He's up 9.04%. Buy that stock, baby. Stephon Diggs off the charts as well. He is at $24.60. He's up $1.69. Nice. And that's up 7.4%. This is unreal. Kirk Cousins, stock down, thanks to the Philadelphia Eagles defense and Darius Slay. Robert Woods, not the best game. He's down 89 cents. So this is how it works. It's the stock market with players. That's what Mojo is. Download the app right now. Buy low, sell high, and enjoy all that. The app currently offers the NFL with over 300 skill players across quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. And each athlete's stock on Mojo has a share price that rises and falls in real time based on on-field performance, news, and anything else that might affect expectations. Prices move all year long, so there's no off season. Mojo available in New Jersey on iOS, but just downloading the app. And by just downloading the app, you have a chance to win up to $10,000 in free shares of players' stock. Click the link in the description for a chance to win up to $10,000 in free shares of player stock. Must be 21 or older and physically located in New Jersey to trade on Mojo. Have a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Also, go to mojo.com. Check that out. And you can get even more information on the great Mojo app. Check my social media. We'll be tweeting out things all throughout the season. You can check it out right now. I got a tweet from before the Eagles game as well. So check out all things Mojo. Download it to your phone. Players are stocks. Win yourself some money with those stocks. Let me get into the chat. PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Let's get into our chat check, see how you guys are doing today. Kevin, good morning, Kevin. Phillies know how to take the vibe out of you. You're damn right they do. You know what the Phillies were? It was like we were all partying with the Eagles, and we're all having a great, we're out till 5 a.m. and we're all getting back. We're all like drunk and having a great time. We're laying there having a good time. And then at like 9 a.m, your roommate starts playing really loud music. And that was the Phillies. Like, what what are you doing? Wanted to come down gradually from this. Oh no, you up right now. Boop. Mally, what's up? Good morning. As Cliff Lee says, that's baseball. Mally, great reference. Mally, I want playoff baseball if it's worth it. Just don't want playoff baseball to just get in and be embarrassed. No, I'll take playoff baseball. I'll still take playoff baseball. Mihai, what's going on, Mihai? Nice to see you. Morning, everybody. Must make the playoffs in all caps. With the Mariners making the playoffs this year, us having the longest playoff drought just simply adds to the poverty of our franchise. Oh, Mihai. Oh, the poverty of our franchise. I know what you mean, metaphorically speaking. I mean, they got a lot of money. They spend a lot of money. They're over the luxury tax. I get it. But, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Poverty in terms of actual worth. Yee! So, Mihai doesn't care if they get swept in the first round. Just make the playoffs. I'm with you. Mally, so make the playoffs so we won't have the longest drought. Rather make the playoffs and actually be worth it, not to end a drought. Phillies got bounced out in 2007 by the Rockies, okay? Phillies got bounced out, and they got swept. They got swept by the Rockies in 2007. And then they came back and they won the World Series the next year. I'll take that playoff experience. I'll take it. Sean Gillespie, too early for Super Bowl talk. It was a fantasy. That's some of the conversation that came out. I saw it around social media circles. Oh, Bills won in blowout fashion. Eagles won in blowout fashion. Super Bowl. Sure. If you could ever justify talking about a Super Bowl in week 2 just for funsies, this was an example of that. No question about it. And I won't even get it. Truly Super Bowl talk. Sean Gillespie, good morning. Sean Gillespie, hello, nurse. I'll be sure to let Devan know that you said hello, nurse. I think I'm going to get this right. Behrman and Professor Paylines. Good morning, Herr Farzy. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying to me? Guten Morgen, right? I'll say this in my son Leo's voice because he looks like a little German baby. Good morning, Herr Farzy. The Phillies play like pansies, yeah? Anyway. April. Good morning, April. What's happening? Mike Walker. Farzy. They're doing it to us again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 11 years in a row, and I'm a freaking idiot. Thank God Eagles are ready to roll. Trade the house to get Trout. Everyone is expendable. Mike Walker, thank you very much. Jeff. What's up, Jeff? Nice to see you, bud. When was the last time the Eagles and Giants were both 2-0 and looking like they both could go 3-0? Crazy times in the NFL. I can't get over the idea of Brian Daboll rapping Biggie in the locker room. I can't get over that. Saquon Barkley said it after his last game. And just said there's a totally different vibe in the coaching change and Brian Daboll's attitude and all that stuff. And he's like, he raps every word to Biggie. And I know they had him in the locker room after the game against the Panthers last week, and he was in there his dancing. But I need to physically see all that. I just need all of it. And I need a full 4-minute presentation. But it just goes to show you, Sean. My son is blonde-haired, blue-eyed, fair-skinned. He's just like his very German-looking mother. He's my little German baby. Leonardo Lou Farzetta is the most German-looking kid I've ever seen in my life. And my wife is just like, stop giving him voices. I'm like, sorry, mama. It's fun. But Jeff, I don't know the last time that was. I don't know. Sean Gillespie, is that little Mork from Orc after Hindu Kush? Did I say Nanu? I might have. I don't know. I'm with Mally. I don't want him to make the playoffs. This is from April. I'm with Mally. I don't want him to make the playoffs just to get embarrassed. Yeah, I am. Whatever ends with them in the playoffs, that would help my soul. And it would also make me feel better about other Septembers. I remember in 2006, I think the Phillies were right on the Astros tales of making the playoffs. And then the Astros ended up winning. But I just remember thinking, like, people are like, oh, they're going to make the playoffs. I'm thinking, no, they're not. Why should I believe they're going to make the playoffs? They give us a good run. They play some meaningful games, and then they blow it. And that's kind of how I feel right now about the Phillies. I just want them to make the playoffs to get that monkey of not making the playoffs off their back to help them next year. Yeah, the Phillies got swept out. Oh, man, I'll never forget that. When the Phillies got swept by the Rockies, I remember they moved Kyle Kendrick to the bullpen, and then Kyle Loesch came in and gave up a grand slam to the Rockies? Or was it the other way around? That I can't remember. The bottom line is they got embarrassed against the Rockies. And then the Rockies ended up winning the World Series. Or the National League pennant. Mihai, I'd rather have an Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl, the opportunity to beat Reed and Mahomes after Belichick and Brady, plus the Chiefs have a great fan base except for Jackson and Brittany Mahomes. Yeah, Mihai, let's get particular about our Super Bowl matchups right now. As a matter of fact, I don't want to face the Bills when the Eagles make the Super Bowl. I'd rather face the Chiefs and beat Andy Reid. That's right. And you know what? While we're in the process of doing it, we have the best clock management ever. That would really stick it to old Andy Reid. Oh, pots and pans. We're having fun. We're all having fun here. Thanks to everybody in the chat check. You guys are great as per usual. Let's move into our morning rush. Brought to by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. I didn't get to this yesterday, so I wanted to make sure I got to it now. For the people on the podcast, I'm showing a picture of the people in the Art Museum from Minnesota that were doing the skull chant atop the Art Museum steps. Now, if you haven't seen this yet, it's a great thing. The Eagles put this out and just said, "Go Birds," and I love this. The Eagles put this out, and it's a split, if you will, picture. On top is the skull chant on top of the Art Museum, and on the bottom is the Michael Jordan meme, and I took that personally. I still think about that. That still bothers me. I don't like it even a little bit, but there it is in picture frame. And whenever I think of the Minnesota Vikings, I always think of them doing the skull chant atop the Art Museum steps. Zach Wheeler back on the bump tonight. Kevin Guzman will get the start. He's 12-10 on the season for the Toronto Blue Jays with a 3.45 ERA. Wheeler is expected to make his first start tonight since August 20th. So obviously a little bit over a month away from his last start. And I got to get this in. I'm in no way, shape, or form a Yankee fan, but I do love history. Aaron Judge hit his 60th home run of the season last night. In doing so, he gave the Yankees an 8-5 deficit. It was 8-4. He had a solo home run, made it 8-5 in the bottom of the ninth inning. Then a couple of batters later, Giancarlo Stanton steps to the plate and hits a walk-off grand slam for the Yankees to win 9-8 to put an exclamation point on the historic night for Aaron Judge. 60 home runs. 60 home runs for Aaron Judge. Now, I looked at it because I've mentioned my buddy Bennett on the show before, and he was like, wow, Aaron Judge's numbers are absolutely insane. And I'm like, you're right. All credit to him, but Yankee Stadium is a bandbox. And it got me thinking, wait, well, hold on. What are his splits? And at the time, this was last weekend, I think it was, Aaron Judge hit 29 home runs at home and 28 home runs on the road. Like, that was the split. So, yes, I do think Yankee Stadium is a flipping bandbox, but to have a split like that, home and away, it means you're doing it no matter where the hell you are, obviously. So that was pretty impressive. 60 home runs. Just seeing that number, I know it's been ruined by some people, but still seeing that 60 home runs next to a player's name is pretty incredible. And on top of that, Aaron Judge is now the Triple Crown leader. The latest one to do it since Miguel Cabrera in a season. And Miguel Cabrera actually did it. First one since Yastrzemski. But Aaron Judge right now is the Triple Crown leader. He's got a 1 point in batting average. He's 1 point better, 316 to Xander Bogaerts' 315. So he's 316 to 315 with him, with Aaron Judge in the lead. And obviously he's killing it when it comes to RBI. He's killing it when it comes to home runs. But batting average is where it's the closest right now. Unreal season by Aaron Judge. Unreal season. That's the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzy. This is a program we like to call the Farzy Show. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that fun stuff on social media platforms. My thanks to our guest, Devan Kaney, today for talking all things Eagles with us. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow to talk even more. Hopefully Philadelphia Eagles. And also, Philadelphia Phillies winning a baseball game and not losing a sixth of the game in a row. Thanks for watching. Jim Hyde, produced the program, did a wonderful job. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. My name is Mark Farzad. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow. See ya.